Have you ever heard of Medusa, the monster with snakes for hair whose gaze could turn anyone to stone? Her story is one of the most famous and tragic in all of Greek mythology. But was she always a monster? The answer might surprise you. Let's dive into the real story of Medusa, a tale of beauty, betrayal, and a terrible curse. Long ago, Medusa was not a fearsome creature, but a mortal woman of breathtaking beauty. She was one of three sisters known as the Gorgons, but unlike her immortal siblings, Stheno and Euryale, Medusa was human. Her hair, a cascade of golden curls, was said to be her most stunning feature, rivaling even the goddesses. Medusa was a priestess in the temple of Athena, the goddess of wisdom and warfare. She dedicated her life to the goddess, taking a vow of celibacy and serving within the sacred walls of the Parthenon in Athens. Pilgrims and worshippers traveled from all over Greece, not just to honor Athena, but also to catch a glimpse of Medusa's incredible beauty. She was admired and desired by many, but her devotion to Athena was unwavering. She was pure, innocent, and completely dedicated to her sacred duties. However, her beauty would ultimately become the cause of her downfall, attracting the unwanted attention of a powerful god. Poseidon, the mighty god of the sea, one of the three most powerful Olympian gods, became infatuated with Medusa. He saw her beauty and was consumed by desire. He pursued her relentlessly, but Medusa, honoring her vow to Athena, rejected his advances time and time again. She wanted nothing to do with the sea god. Her loyalty was to her goddess. But Poseidon was not a god who took no for an answer. One fateful day, Medusa sought refuge from Poseidon's relentless pursuit inside Athena's temple. Believing she would be safe on the holy ground, she was wrong. In an act of unforgivable disrespect and violence, Poseidon assaulted Medusa right there on the floor of the sacred temple. It was a desecration of the highest order, an insult to Athena herself. When Athena discovered what had happened in her temple, her reaction was not one of compassion for her priestess. Instead, she was filled with rage. But her anger wasn't directed at Poseidon, her powerful uncle. It was aimed squarely at the victim, Medusa. Athena saw the act as a stain on her temple's purity and blamed Medusa for allowing it to happen. In her eyes, Medusa's beauty had tempted Poseidon and led to the desecration. As punishment, Athena inflicted a horrifying curse upon Medusa. She transformed the beautiful maiden into a monstrous creature. Her magnificent golden hair, the very feature that had attracted Poseidon, was turned into a writhing mass of venomous snakes. Her skin became a ghastly, scaly green. But the cruelest part of the curse was her gaze. Anyone who dared to look directly into Medusa's eyes would be instantly turned to stone. And so the once beautiful and devout priestess was forever changed. She was no longer a symbol of beauty and purity, but a figure of terror and death. This curse also extended to her sisters. Though they were immortal and had done nothing wrong, they were transformed into similar monstrous Gorgons to share in Medusa's lonely fate. Banished and feared, Medusa and her sisters were forced to flee to a remote, deserted island at the edge of the world. They lived in isolation, their home a grotesque garden of stone statues, the unfortunate sailors, warriors and adventurers who had stumbled upon their lair and met their petrifying gaze. Medusa was now a monster, feared by all, her name whispered in horror. She lived a life of solitude and sorrow, a constant reminder of the injustice she had suffered. Her story became a cautionary tale, a warning of the wrath of the gods. Years passed, and the legend of the fearsome Gorgon Medusa spread far and wide. Many brave but foolish warriors attempted to slay her, seeking fame and glory. All of them failed, becoming permanent additions to her stone collection. But one day, a hero destined for greatness, Perseus, son of Zeus, was sent on an impossible quest to bring back the head of Medusa. This quest was a trap set by a corrupt king who wanted Perseus out of the way. But Perseus was not like the others. He had divine help. Athena, the very goddess who cursed Medusa, ironically decided to aid the hero. She gave him a brightly polished bronze shield, so he could see Medusa's reflection without looking at her directly. The god Hermes gave him a pair of winged sandals to fly, and a magical sword sharp enough to cut through the Gorgon's scaly neck. Hades, lord of the underworld, provided a helmet of invisibility. Using these divine gifts, Perseus found the Gorgon's lair. He crept in while the three sisters were asleep. Using the reflection in his polished shield to guide him, he approached the sleeping Medusa. He saw not just a monster, but the sleeping face of a woman trapped in a cursed existence. With one swift strike of his divine sword, Perseus beheaded Medusa, ending her tragic life. Even in death, Medusa's power remained. From her severed neck sprang two beings, Pegasus, the winged horse, and Chrysaor, a giant with a golden sword. These were her children by Poseidon, born from her demise. Perseus placed Medusa's head in a special bag and used its petrifying power on his journey home to defeat his enemies, including the sea monster Cetus and the corrupt king who sent him on the quest. Finally, Perseus returned the head to Athena. The goddess, in a final act of morbid irony, placed the head on her own shield, the Aegis. Medusa's terrifying face and stony gaze became a symbol of Athena's power, a weapon to petrify her enemies in battle. The victim's head was now her punisher's emblem. So, was Medusa a villain, or was she a victim? Her story is a powerful tragedy about the abuse of power, divine jealousy, and the transformation of a victim into a monster. She was punished for a crime committed against her, her beauty twisted into a curse. For centuries, she was seen as a simple monster. But today, many see her as a symbol of female rage and a survivor of injustice. Her story forces us to question who the real monsters are in our myths. What do you think? Let me know in the comments below. The legend of Medusa is a stark reminder that there are often two sides to every story, and the line between hero, victim, and monster can be tragically blurred. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this journey into Greek mythology, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell for more stories from the ancient world. See you next time.